Hi, I'm John Doherty, and this is the Rory Project, where we learn to swing like Rory McIlroy, from setup to finish, while we compare his driver and iron swing. And this is video number 2, where we're still looking at setup, but this time from the face on. First video was down the line. And what we saw were some drastic differences, and we'll see some differences here with the face on as well. So the major one we saw from the down the line was the arms. The arms with driver were much more out past the shoulders, extended more towards the ball. And with irons, the arms were much more tucked under the shoulders. He's much more bent over. In both the driver and the iron, he's out on the balls of the feet, but with driver, much more upright posture, and irons even much more bent over from the waist. Was the major differences. So we'll see a little clue of that from the face on, but you really can't see it clearly unless you look at down the line. The clue from face on really is you can't see his face with the short irons, and with the driver you can see his nose and his chin. That's the major one. As far as the arms, you'll see the arms, the elbows a little closer together with driver because his arms are out more extended in front of him. And then with irons, with the arms more under the shoulders, the hands are going to get closer to the ground. So he doesn't want that toe of that club off the ground. So having that right elbow a little softer will let him have that handle a little higher and not have that club sitting, digging in with the heel at setup. All right, moving down to the grip, and we can see that from the face on. We can't really see that from the down the line. You know, Rory's got a grip that's really palm down, left hand, kind of strongish left hand with his thumb of his left hand on the right side of the grip, kind of like dribbling a basketball with the left hand, and then the right hand kind of weak and palm down. So what we traditionally call strong left hand and more weak to neutral right hand. He's kind of palm down left hand, palm down right hand. And if you look at the V form between his thumb and index finger, really going left ear, and then with the short clubs, left of left ear. So you could watch Rory. If you really study his wedges and then look at his driver swing, you'll see that right hand grip even get more on top with the short clubs and a little less on top with the long clubs. And the reason for that is the long clubs are harder to square. Driver's harder to square up than a wedge. And so he doesn't want that face going left with a wedge. So getting that right hand grip a little bit more on top helps him with that. He's a little bit more of an on top or right arm dominant style releaser of the swing. Terry Rolls, Mike Adams do a wonderful job of explaining that. They've really identified two major release styles of either on top or under style swings. And you can really clearly see that with the grip. The guys that have a really strong under right hand grip have a different style release, and the guys with a weak right hand grip have a much more dominant right arm release through the strike. Rory's definitely more of that on top style golfer with that weak or on top right hand grip, palm down right hand grip. But we can see that clearly from this face on view. Major difference that's obvious is stance width. Driver, his feet are out past his shoulders, and then the irons, his feet are directly under his shoulders. This helps a lot with hitting up at the ball with driver or get more of a level strike, because the wider you get your stance, that's easier to get this left shoulder more on the ball. And then with the irons, getting that left shoulder more in front of the ball really helps with low point. So with driver, we're trying to swing level to up, and then irons, they get that angle of attack more down. So a more narrow stance is better when we're trying to get that angle of attack more down, combined with that major posture difference he does with getting the upper body more out over the feet and the arms more tucked under. It helps with angle of attack. And driver getting an angle, those arms more out and extended, and upper body more upright, helps get more on that mid 40 degree plane with driver. A neat thing Rory does at his setup, a lot like long drivers, is his right knee is flexed more than his left knee. So left knee's straightish and right knee's flexed, and that's going to help him really do the opposite in the backswing. Really flex the left knee and straighten the right knee in the backswing. So it's sort of kind of a counter move where he's set up straight left knee, flex right knee, and he's about to push the other way in the backswing. You'll see a lot of long drive hitters do this. As far as balance, I had the green lines drawn just straight up through the heels of the feet-ish, and just kind of to show how his body's set up in relationship to his feet. And you can see he's favoring a little bit more of the right foot than the left foot. And a lot of amateur swings I see the opposite. I see a lot more people set up way left. What makes that hard when you set up way left is we got to get right. And then we got to get back left before the downswing ends. So if you're set up left, you got to get right, then left in a very short period of time, where if you're already set up right, it really does cut out some of the stuff we got to do. You're set up right, then we're going to move a little bit more left, recenter before the downswing starts. It kind of cuts out a piece versus preloading and starting so far left. So I like this with him. You'll see this with Mac O'Grady, setting up with more of a right knee flex, left knee straight, and then favoring a little bit more of the right foot at setup. Another difference you'll see here in these two swings is Rory's right ear is a little higher than his left ear here at setup. Programming a much bigger backswing, a more dynamic move. Here we have a shorter backswing, doesn't need the range of motion. Ears are a little bit more level there. That's interesting difference between the two. But we're going to have fun looking at this. Next video we're going to do is take away to P3 from down the line. I'll do another one from face on. And we're just going to look at these little differences and similarities that Rory does in his swing and see how that can help you with your game. Stick with me. We're going to have a good time.